Okay, here's the video. This is my KitchenAid, and that is 4½ cups of flour. 4½ cups of flour. And then I'm going to use 1 pound of lard. And I'm going to mix that till it's about pea size. And then I'm going to pour in 1 cup of water. But in that water will be 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of vinegar, but that's probably what we'd call a dry heaping, so I always give it a big squirt. So that's what it is on an ounce measurer. There we go. That's how much vinegar I'll use. So I'm going to mix all that together. I'm going to show you how I put this in my KitchenAid, blend it up, and make my dough. So stay tuned. So this is my 1 pound of lard, and I've cut in a little bit so that it's not going to be one big lump when I put it in my KitchenAid. And you could work this down right to the point where it's you pour the liquid in, but I like to use my KitchenAid, so I just get it. You can do this to pea size and then pour your liquid on and then just mix it up into a dough if you don't have a KitchenAid, but I have a KitchenAid, so that's what I'm going to use. Right. So into this I put 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 pound of lard, and 4½ cups of flour. And I'm just going to walk it over here and stick it in my KitchenAid, right? There we go. So now I've got to put the phone down and put a beater in there. So just stay tuned. Here's my egg, my vinegar, and my water. And you just mix that up so you have it so that the egg is broken down. So I've got a little over a cup in there, because better to have too much than not enough, because you don't want your dough to be dry. So here we go. Here I'm mixing the lard and the flour, and this is going to mix till it gets to the point where I'll just add the liquid and it'll make a nice little dough. Alrighty. So today's pie day. We're going to do Saskatoon, rhubarb, raisin, and apple. And this will make 2 layers. So here we go. It's getting to the point now. I'm just going to add the liquid. And then you can see it's quite moist. I'm going to give it a good beat. And then I'm going to stop it. Now I'm going to pull that off the beater and show you how I roll it out. Well, here we go. So I have taken out the dough. You can see it right there. And I take out about, I know almost what it is to make a 1 pie crust. So I'll take that out and I'll put it in the flour. And then I roll it around in the flour like that. And I set it aside, because I'm only working one at a time. So once I get this done, I just form it into a kind of a patty. It's a little round. And then I flip it. And as I flip it, of course it's not sticky anymore because I got lots of flour on the table. And each time I do this, it's making a flake. So your pie crust is going to be nice and flaky and not hard. And I will use right down to the last little wee bit of the dough, because it's not going to get hard on me. So now I just need some pie plates. And it measures, so I'm going to take it and knock that flour off of it and stick it in the pie plate like so. There we go. So now you can see that it's, where is it? There we go. There's in the pie plate. And I'm going to do all of them and then I'll fill them. So I have my handy dandy little counter scraper. I'll scrape everything up and do another one. So today is pie day, and I got a few orders, a few gifts. So I gave a giveaway to the 4-H, and somebody's ordered their pies. So, oh look, I got a hole in it. You see that hole? So I'm just going to redo that one. I'm just going to redo it. And that's not bad. Sometimes that happens, and I just remake it into the ball that it's supposed to be. Flip it a couple of times. And if I don't feel it's going to maybe make as a big a pie as I need, if I didn't take enough dough out, I'll just fold it over and I'll use it as a top. And I think that's what I'm going to do with this one. And I just skimped a little bit on it. So we'll just take it and knock the flour off of it, fold it in a half and a quarter and put it aside. And that's going to be one of the tops. Sometimes I think I just don't round them in my hand long enough. This one's got a little bit more dough in it. And I put a whole cup of flour on my counter to start. And I'm going to have to add, because I'm down to most of the flour has now absorbed into the crusts. So I have to add more because I sure don't want it sticking to my counter. Now everybody has their own way of doing this. So if you have a better way, I'm going to add some flour to that. And then we're going to do one more. We'll do 3, and then I'll start filling them. So that's my little, this is the bum. So I usually put it down first and flatten it, then I roll it over. And I've made, probably thousands of pies. So this is something that I'm used to. And if it doesn't work out, then I do it over again. But if I put too much flour in with the lard to start with, there's no room for making over. There's just no room. Okay, so here's pie number 3. Put it in the pie shell. And so there's pie shell 1, pie shell 2, pie shell 3, and there I've got the top ready to go. This is how much flour I've got left over after I put all that flour on the counter. So we'll just scrape it up because I've got more dough here to work with and to make the rest of the tops. So I'm just going to take a moment now and I'm going to put the filling in the pies. So I'm making my sauce now. So I'm talking to myself. Thank you. I'm making sauce for my apple pie and rhubarb pie and Saskatoon pie. Pretty much use the same thing. Got a cup and a half of sugar. This is 3 heaping tablespoons of flour. And this is apple juice that I took off my apples last fall. And I'm going to just pour some of that in. And I'm going to add some lemon juice to that. Yeah, about that much. It gives it a little bit of a zip. So now I have to kind of have to shut off the phone, and I got to blend it. So I'm going to put my blender in there and with the flour, and I'm going to add some water. I'm going to top it off with water because I've got to have a sauce in my pies or the pies will be dry. So I'm going to do that now. So here's my, I had a little bit left over from the last time I made pies. I put it in a quart sealer. I've added some flour, and that's not going to fit. So you caught me. So there we go. I will go to plan B. Okay, here's my plan B. So this is a handy little container I got. It probably holds about 4 or 5 cups. So it's stainless steel. I'm just going to mix all this in. And I'm going to, I've already added a little bit of water, but I'm going to add some more of this sugar and apple juice. And mix it in. The flour is going to be the thickener. And we'll mix this up a bit. And we'll pour it in also. And that should, that'll do quite a few pies actually, probably 6 or 8 or 10. So it's not overly sweet. I don't like the taste of fruit. I'm just going to mix this in so it's not crystally. But we break down the sugar so it dissolves in the liquid. There we go. Don't want that to fall over, spill it all over the place. That's about, probably more than 2 cups of rhubarb. And it was frozen, so I did thaw it out because otherwise it's going to be really, really juicy. That is butter, real butter. I usually put 3 dabbles. The butter is colder today, so maybe the dabbles are a bit bigger. And then I'm going to put the juice on, right? There's my juice. I'm going to pour it on top. Right? So you can see it. Right? So now I'm going to sprinkle more sugar on top of this pie because it's a rhubarb pie and rhubarb is sour. So just to give it a little bit extra sweetness, because there's only 1.5 cups of sugar in this. And that's going to do a lot of pie. So on rhubarb pie, I usually add a little bit of sugar, and I'm going to do that now. So, see if I can do this with my left hand. I'm just going to give it a nice little bit of sugar there so that's a 3/4 cup, and I probably put maybe 1/4 cup. And I just sprinkled it on top, and that'll work itself in. There we go. And when it gets to be about like that, then I quit. So I've still got a little bit in there, so I didn't use it all. I can use that later. And now I'm going to put the top on. So I just set the top on. Oh, I didn't tell you all this, but I used my handy dandy brush, and that's real cream. So I went around all the edges with this real cream. And I like using real cream or 18% or 10%, and sometimes I actually use milk. So now that I got the pie done, now I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to cut that edge off. Just like that. Make it nice and even all the way around. Get my handy dandy little scraper here. And then I'm going to do the pinch. So if I put it up a little bit like that, maybe you'll see. I don't know. And I put my 2 fingers like this, like the letter C, and then I have my thumb, and I just pinch it. And I just go around and around and around, and I pinch it. Oh, some people use a fork, and some people use a roller type thing, but this is what I was trained to in my youth. So there's my little pie. Rhubarb pie. I like to put different decorations on the top. It's nothing fancy. They're not buying fancy pie. They're buying tasty pie. And then I cover the whole thing. The whole top I cover with that same whipping cream. And I don't care if it pools. Some people say, oh, you can't pool it. You can't. I don't care if it pools. It's all going to absorb into the crust and make it nice and shiny and brown. Of course, when this comes out of the oven, I'll give you a picture of what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. But I'm sorry, you won't get a taste. So there's my pie. Now I've set my oven. I like to cook my pies at 350. Pies at 350. So I set my oven earlier today at 350 degrees. And I'm going to put this in, and I'll try to time it. But I usually go by vision. So when it's nice and brown, there's little bubbles coming up out of all these little marks, then I know it's done. So now it's going in the oven. So these are apple pies. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm not going to bake these. Somebody's ordered them raw frozen. So these are apples from my trees. I don't peel them because that peel is just going to dissolve to nothing once it's baked. And really, if you were to eat an apple, you probably eat the peeling anyways. So I just sprinkle it a little bit with cinnamon. Right? And I'm going to add the butter. Everything's better with butter. So we... There we go, butter's on. So I still have to make the top crust for these and add the liquid. So I'm going to roll the top crusts and then I'll pour the liquid on just before I put the top on. Okay, so now I've got the crust rolled. This is the mark I put on my apple pies. It's just a silly little thing I do, but I like to put different marks. And now we're going to add the liquid. And we add the liquid till we kind of can see it. If we add too much, it's going to boil all over the oven, so we're not going to do that. And these apples are frozen, so they're going to make some of their own juice anyways, so that's probably enough liquid. And now I'm going to put the top crust on. Just like that. And put the other top crust on that I've made. Well, I took a little break here. There we go. And I'm going to cut them off to size. And cut this one down to size. I'm going to press it down so make sure it's tightly sealed. There we go. So then I give it a good pat, and then I pinch. Now, they're not, everybody says, well, how come they're not big and tall and high? Well, you know what? If you put them making big and tall and high, you're going to have stuff all over your oven because there's a lot of liquid to go places. So then I'm going to do this one also, do lots of cream on top. Make sure it's all good and covered. Not too fancy. I'm not going to sit here and do it all afternoon. I just get her done. And if I get too much, oh well, it'll bake off. Make it nice and brown when it's cooked. And no cream is expensive, but, you know, so are pies. So I give people a decent value for their dollar. The apples were free, so I can put cream on top and butter. And I don't use margarine. Margarine is one molecule away from being plastic, so there's no margarine in my life at all. So everything's better with butter. So all nice and done. And now I'm going to wrap them. Now the pies are wrapped. You cellophane, go one way and then the other way. And now I'm going to put them in the freezer and get them good and frozen before I take them over to the lady who ordered them. Alrighty, so apple pies are in the freezer freezing. It's more solid. These are Saskatoons. They're little berries that grow in the prairies. They're not blueberries. They are Saskatoon berries. So the center of them has got seeds. And they could be on the dry side if you don't have enough moisture. And they probably will spill over in my oven, but oh well, put enough moisture in there. So there is the butter. I've already wet the rim. I've put the sauce on. I'm going to put the lid on. And we just put it on like that. Tap it all the way around. And put the other one on like this. Tap it all the way around. And I usually put, again, a distinctive mark. So when the pies are all said and done, I know. And I've got, so that's 1 in the oven, 2 in the freezer, and these 2. And these are, I believe, 10-inch pies. I usually make 9-inch pies, but I've got the 10-inch shells, so these guys are getting a bonus today. So I'm going to have enough left over for a single crust, and that single crust will be a lemon pie. So here we are. We're going to pinch it like this. You can see my fingers like that, and I'm just pushing my thumb into those fingers and moving it around the pie like that. And that's pie number 1 and pie number 2. And then I'm going to cover them with cream and put them in the oven. Okay? So the pies have been covered. They've been pinched. That's my little S mark on top. And now I'm going to put them in the oven and probably bake them till they're golden brown.